Roman Reigns' return to WWE led to an all-out feud with Solo Sikoa's Bloodline, and the storyline has progressed every week. According to a recent report, the original tribal chief had a major influence on decisions surrounding Sikoa's faction. A few months ago, the Bloodline's Jacob Fatu and Tama Tonga won the WWE Tag Team Championships from #DIY. Later, Solo Sikoa took the title from the Samoan Werewolf and gave it to Tonga Loa, as the tribal chief wanted his enforcer's attention to the fullest. According to Ibu of wrestling purists, the insider claimed Roman Reigns has massive influence over the booking of the Bloodline and hinted that the original tribal chief was responsible for Tama Tonga and Tonga Loa's successful title defense against Street Profits and DIY in the tag team ladder match. The decision was surprising, as Reigns is feuding with Sikoa's version of the group. However, it could make sense in the long run, as fans will witness Solo Sikoa's group versus the original Bloodline, where the titles could play an important role. Earlier this year, Solo Sikoa took the reins as the next tribal chief and made groundbreaking changes within the villainous faction. Later, he added the Tongans to the fray and introduced the WWE Universe to Jacob Fatu. None of these changes sat well with Roman Reigns, and the original tribal chief confronted him and his faction after the biggest party of the summer in Ohio. Sadly, Reigns lost the numbers game and returned with vengeance. The original tribal chief teamed up with the American Nightmare to take on Solo Sikoa and the Samoan Werewolf in Atlanta. In the match's final moments, Jey Uso returned and helped Reigns beat Sikoa. Later, The Rock returned to WWE and had a stare-down with Roman Reigns and Cody Rhodes. It'll be interesting to see what's next for the Samoan group in the coming weeks and months. Roman Reigns has been the face of WWE for years, a dominant force at the helm of one of the most successful factions in recent history, the Bloodline. His run as the tribal chief has been marked by manipulation, power struggles, and a steadfast belief in his supremacy. As WWE's Bad Blood premium event looms on the horizon, speculation has been running rampant. It's reported that Roman Reigns is poised to make a shocking Bloodline-related decision before the event, one that could not only shake the faction to its core, but also send ripple effects across the entire WWE landscape. The Bloodline, which initially began as a family-driven faction between Roman Reigns and his cousins, the Usos, Jey and Jey Uso, evolved into one of the most compelling stories WWE has ever told. Roman's rise to power as the tribal chief came with his demands for loyalty, forcing his cousins to fall in line. While Jey initially resisted, Jey found himself reluctantly pledging allegiance after a brutal series of matches, including their Hell in a Cell I Quit match in 2020. Eventually, Jey would join too, solidifying the Bloodline as a dominant force. Over time, the addition of Solo Sikoa, the youngest brother of the Usos, further reinforced Roman's authority. However, recent events have seen fractures forming within the Bloodline. Jey Uso, once Roman's right-hand man, began to challenge his authority, leading to a high-profile falling out, which culminated in Jey leaving SmackDown altogether and joining Monday Night Raw. The Bloodline's once unshakable unity has been crumbling for months, and with Bad Blood on the horizon, Roman Reigns is reportedly preparing to make a decision that could either attempt to mend the family's broken bonds or drive a permanent wedge between them. The seeds of Roman Reigns' potential decision were planted after the events of SummerSlam 2024. Jey Uso took on Roman for the undisputed WWE Universal Championship in a tribal combat match, a battle that was meant to settle all disputes within the family. However, interference from Jey Uso, who shockingly betrayed his brother, led to Roman retaining the championship. This act of treachery was seen as Jey trying to reinsert himself into the hierarchy of the Bloodline after being cast aside. Following this betrayal, Jey announced he was done with WWE, leading fans to wonder whether this was the end for the Bloodline or if Roman had one last trick up his sleeve to keep his empire intact. The faction, once seen as an indomitable family, was now shattered, with Solo Sikoa caught between his loyalty to Roman and his brothers, and Jey trying to re-establish his place in the fold. According to insiders, Roman Reigns has been carefully plotting his next move for months. As Bad Blood approaches, sources report that Roman is considering a move that would completely alter the dynamics within the Bloodline, It's speculated that Roman may attempt to recruit new members into the faction to replace Jey, or perhaps even Jimmy, in a bid to keep his kingdom alive.